How do you hope viewers experience your visual meditation?
Well, because they come from intuition and inspiration, right? You hope that a spark will land in the viewer.
Mhm.
And I think that because when you work with light and consciousness and you believe that it makes a difference in your path of transformation, you hope that others can discover that for themselves, because the more people that discover that, the truth of that for themselves, the more hopeful we can feel about humanity. So I do the best I can of being authentic and true about the path of transformation, about that there is the possibility of an inner experience of light. There is the possibility of connection to one's soul. And I believe that that can bring the gifts of inspiration and intuition, and that one can have clarity, harmony, and peace. So I'm very, I have an incentive, right? It makes me happy to do this. I get to see my vision in front of me, reinforcing the truths that I explore. But then I can say, well, maybe someone else will have an inner experience, a perception, a memory, recalling a memory of their own inner experience or a dream they may have had. And that will set them off on their journey.
Thank you. People always say to me, why you don't comment so much after the artist says things, But sometimes I just feel like, oh, it's okay. I mean, they are so deep for me. I mean, you are so deep in your answers that I prefer just to leave it like this and pass
Well,
to.
and hybrids are good too. If you feel like, well, there's something that my audience might like to know more about, or
Mhm.
maybe that didn't land as clearly,
Okay.
know that I'm happy to oblige.
Yes. Perfect. Um, how do Anya Yoga and Integral Yoga complement your artistic practice?
Well, one thing that I've been we're
I mean,
repeating theme here.
yes, but it's
Yes, which is
completely
fine.
okay.
This is what I love to talk about. So,
Yes, which is
um, but I would like to relate the fact that there is there is a relationship between the two practices, and how I started with one and expanded into the other, and they were complementary. Um, so one of the things I haven't mentioned so far is um, one of the practices with integral yoga, and that is, yes, there is the overhead descent. And as I mentioned, that was part of Agni Yoga too.
Mhm.
And then there's the working from behind the heart with the soul radiance or the soul fire. But the additional practice is the practice of surrender, surrendering to the Divine Mother, or to the divine, if you like. And this is part of integral yoga. It's called the yoga of works, or karma yoga. And in this practice, you start to see and experience that you can be an instrument for the Divine Mother working through you. And you can see the difference between your deeper self and your personality self. And you can work to free that personality self and make it more in alignment with your deeper truth. And one of the ways to do that is to surrender. And there's 3 words that Sri Aurobindo uses to kind of capsulize that. It's called aspiration, rejection, and surrender. So this is something that I would use. This is something that I would start with when I'm contemplating a work. So what's my intention? And can I have that be more in alignment with my true self rather than an personality, need, or want? And then I can let go, using my consciousness tools, I can let go of anything that would stand in the way of my perceiving that deeper truth. And the surrender is the last part of that. And, it's really hard, I think, in Western culture, but it may be worldwide. It's really hard to let go. It's really hard to
Yes.
trust the process of surrender, to trust that what you're letting go of, you no longer need, is no longer part of your growth. But I highly recommend it.
But I mean, when you say, I mean, in the practice of like you are an artist and you have this practice, yes, these habits. And then when you integrate yoga in this practice and you say, I have to let it go, something that is not mine, like an artist. I mean, what is
Well, it's not mine in that we have such an overlay of stuff.
okay? But I
And so
mean,
we're letting go of an overlay we accept what's not ours all the time.
yeah, exactly. Because like an artist, I mean, we usually sometimes because we want to say we are cool, yeah, we can do like things like are cool, yeah, and we
Sure.
look ugly or things, and
Sure.
we're just
It
like,
all has its place in the learning process, right?
yeah, exactly. Is a learning process or is whatever, yes. But I want to be cool, yeah,
Right. Well, if
but
that's your intention, you're right? If
exactly.
that's your intention.
What
But see, I'm to the point where we don't even know what's cool.
exactly? So then you are there because thanks to yoga, yes, because
Yeah.
so that is the meaning of integration of yoga in your artist part,
Yes.
that you just, yeah, you just are, I mean, you just arrive to that place where it's more peaceful to make your art and give it to
And
them
it
all.
comes from a deeper place within, right? And I've removed some of the overlay so that I can perceive, we are such an amalgam of thoughts and feelings and sensations, and we're something more than that, right? So when we get to that something more, then we can see, well, what's really useful about my mental or my emotional or my sensing? What do I not want to, bring in anymore? What's something I don't want to amplify anymore? You can use your deep, true discrimination. Nobody else is telling you. You're
Exactly.
coming from your truth. It's safer that way, right? When you're discovering your truth,
Yes.
then and you bring that in. And the other thing I want to say is, of course, it accelerates intuition and inspiration, right? When you don't have all of this chaotic stuff coming in at you, where you can discriminate it, well, then you're open to something wider, more expansive, more open, to a higher, deeper truth. And that can be a real advantage in your creativity.
One question, Margaret. You say that you have like a lot of images and illustrations. I mean, of course, it's digital, all these kind of things. But when someone want to buy something from you, uh, do you send them by digitally or you print
It
it?
depends. It depends. I have done numbers of things. So, for instance, if someone recently acquired my work for some album covers,
Mhm.
and then I can send it to them digitally. It has to be high resolution, and they would take the printing responsibility of those images. So it can be that way. I have done prints, matted prints, and that kind of thing for sale. So luckily, I'm retired. Now we
Okay,
say
so
that as a joke. It's a joke because I'm doing more work in many ways. But I'm not having to, as we say, I'm not having to make my living, right?
mhm.
Which frees me in many ways, and I want to say this, I have compassion for artists making their living on their vision and how they have to do that. So I'm in a unique position
Yes.
but yes, I have done both print, digital, and still continue. So if I'm doing books, then I give the author the high resolution digital that goes into printing.
Yeah. But it's part of your artistic process when you print the image. Do you choose the paper and these kind of things, or you don't consider that like?
Well, you know, I have, lucky for me, my husband, Jim Page, is a photographer and he has excellent printers. And so, yes, we can go into fine art and fine quality and all of that. You can see that this was printed on canvas. So, yes, I've had to do the materials issues. But I'm very selective now because I want to focus on creating the best vision I can.
Nice, thank you. Ways in what ways do this yoga tradition inform the deeper meaning or intention behind your pieces?
Okay. Well, one of the things that we can talk again about consciousness. We can talk again about, we're talking about the tradition of integral yoga and Agni yoga and how that influences my work, right? So the meditation process can be a very wide palette, right? You can work on inner dimensions of your being. You can work on healing particular aspects of the physical. There are so many ways that once you are able to direct energy and consciousness to free a part of yourself, you're working toward an integration of wholeness. So and we've talked about the descent, we've talked about the radiance behind the heart. We've talked about becoming an instrument. of the Divine Mother. So you can see there's a lot of dimensions to this. There's a lot of focus and contemplation for this. So I don't feel that that I can run out of this ongoing process of growth and this ongoing process of sharing my work so that it can influence others to take up this journey if they so desire.
Yes, every time that I see the painting that you have behind you, inspire me so much that it's just to look the layers and the light, and it's so sweet and light. But bring me some peace inside and also joy, yes, because the colors I have a lot of joy and brightness. So, and also remind me this sun that never will die. Yes, so
That's right, the deathless sun.
yes, so it's
And the thing of it is that what's really, I think, stimulating or awakening, if you will, is that we have the reality of a sun in the sky. But we also have the reality, we have a mythic reality across many cultures of the sun being a symbol of the divine. We also have, in many cultures, the soul consciousness that is a sun within. So we have external light and we have internal light, right? So to me, the joy that I have is I get to bring those realities together, right? We all do it in certain ways in life. And when that happens for you, when your external and internal have congruence, right? When there's that feeling, it's that feeling that you're right place, right time. Your mission is coming forward. You're following something that is deep within that has a truth for you. Well, that can be truly satisfying.
Mhm.
And that's, I think we can encourage others in this process because we know that if someone has that feeling, well, they're going to be more in alignment with who they are. And that just, it makes things so much better working with each other, right?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate always your answers, Margaret.
Thank you.
Do you see digital art as a bridge between individual spirituality and collective consciousness?
I was prefacing my answer with, I think art can always be the bridge between individual growth and discovery and the collective. I think that that's historically, in many civilizations, it's been true. In fact, I might even say it's maybe one of the reasons that you are so devoted to finding pieces of culture that you share with others, because you feel that's important, that people grow and learn from it, the
Mhm.
exposure.
Yes.
That digital might have some advantages. That was what I was thinking about. Does it have advantages? It might. And I was thinking maybe because it's light emitting, that it has a resonance to spiritual vibration, maybe. The fact that people are exposed to digital media, that they have access to it. That could be a positive. Now, how much they're exposed to spiritual digital media, that's what we're working on. That's what I'm working on. Because I feel that if people are exposed to something that helps them resonate to something within themselves, and enough people can, yes, it can shift the collective to more harmony, to more inclusiveness, to more knowing. Even if the collective saw the importance of focusing awareness, of that awareness, their awareness was important. Even if that, it could be significant in terms of how cultural healing can occur.
Yes, thank you. I wonder, I mean, if you ask this, I mean, because do you remember Benjamin? Well, he wrote books in art history. He's an art historian, a critics from the 20th century. And he actually used to say that you have to go to see a piece of art in his place, where
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
made it.
For context.
For context, because
Yes.
if not, they lose the aura or something. He have this kind of concept that he used. I don't know in English if it's the same aura,
Yeah,
but
aura. Sure. Yes.
yes.
Yeah, vibration.
Yeah,
Halo.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I wonder
That's a
how they
valid
explain this
point.
concept
That's a valid point.
in the digital art. I mean, it's just like, I mean, I was like just very concerned about it, just because I was like, student.
It's, I think there are just going to be trade-offs.
Of course.
That's how I'd put it. I have an experience once where I could say what you're saying is like, oh my goodness. I think it was a painting called The Bride. It's by Max Ernst. It's an amazing picture of a beautiful woman undressed, but with a a robe of feathers, and there's this kind of bird creature beside her. And it actually is very symbolic of the war, World War II, and a country being taken over. I had always was just startled by this paintings in books, but I happened to see it at the Guggenheim. And I literally, it was just like, oh my heavens, it was just like the vibration in person was just phenomenal.
Oh,
So I think, I don't dispute this critic's view of things, but the truth is, not all of us are going to be going to these locales to see these major works. So, although there may be disadvantages to digital art not being vibrationally present, let's hope we can put the power of the consciousness in
okay. Good.
them.
Good answer. Yes. Uh,
We'll experiment. We're experimenting here.
exactly. Good. Because it's a new era, actually. Yes.
Mm,
We don't know
mm.
about anything
We
about
don't
that.
know. We don't know.
Yes.
We would like to try and incorporate what we do know works, but we also have to make it work in our time, and that takes some experimenting.
Yes. Yeah, we will have to ask to physicians if actually produce certain vibration. No,
Yes.
we will, for
My
sure they do.
concern is the consciousness and the vibration.
Yes.
That's my concern. And how it manifests, what forms, may affect its power. But if I can really be true to the power and the truth and the clarity and the peace, worth a shot.
Thank you. So to continue with this, what does the future hold for the evolution of light force meditations? What do you think the future holds for the evolution of light force meditations in, well, all in the context of art and these kind of things? Just not, yeah, not, let's not.
You know, I have to say, I am not worried about it.
Okay.
But because there's so many unknowns, right?
Mm-hmm.
My job is to patience and perseverance. That's my job. What I do know is that I will continue with the practices of consciousness, the surrender to the Divine Mother, the being an instrument, the receptivity to inspiration and intuition, to inner vision. That I can commit to. But there are so many unknowns that how it will evolve, what kind of insights I can perceive and manifest. Because I couldn't have known in 1989 what I would do, and I can't know. But I feel, if you like, I feel comforted. I feel supported, right? From within my own connectedness to soul and spirit. All will be well. Now, what I have accomplished, I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful, you know, to have worked with Praveer and to work with Debashish on the cover of his recent book. The fact that collaboration has produced many of my works. So I feel like I will just persevere on this path and try to do right by that